On Blues Radio International, Jesse and Audrey taking you to beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina, and our even more beautiful dear friend, Rick Booth. Hi, Rick.
What's going on, kids?
Hey.
How are you?
Oh, well, that's why we wanted to connect with you, because the world wants to know what's going on at Intrepid right now.
Well, we moved back in our plush, well-lit studios yesterday. We've been going for close to 3 months now. It's good to be back, man. It's tough. It's been a tough 3 months. I think we spoke, 2 months ago now, and I told you check back with me in 2 weeks, and I know a lot more. So I can save you some time today and just tell you should call me back in another 2 weeks, and I'll know a lot more. I don't know. Maybe 2 months I'll know more. Things have changed. I mean, we're in a really difficult time right now, and anybody in the music business right now, I truly feel for them. It's tough on us all.
Is there anything you see coming out of this that is positive, or that maybe positions artists a little differently with their audiences?
If you're an artist, you've had all this downtime. I think there's a lot of songs that could have and should have been written during this time period. If you're an artist and that's what you do, it's been a great opportunity. And I know, because I've heard some of it, we're going to have some great product come out when this is all done. I really believe that Joanna Connor has an album out with it backed by Joe Bonamassa's band, and it'll be put out later on this year, or when they feel like it should be released. I've heard it, and it's phenomenal. Eric Gales is going to be recording with Bonamassa here in early September. That was due back in April, but that's all been moved. And I've tried to learn more. Before this pandemic, I could not Skype. I could not use Zoom. I didn't have a camera on my computer. When people would go to use Skype, I said, "Man, you don't want to see my ugly face." I just call me on the phone. But during this time, I've learned how to do a lot of stuff with the computer, and I've tried to listen to people. And I've definitely stayed in touch with my buyers. I've stayed in touch with all my buyers. I've called to check on my artists. They call to check on me. My team has done really well with all of it. Team Intrepid here. My guys have, everybody stayed busy, and it was tough to do. I think by the time, we got through all the COVID stuff, or didn't get through it, but started to realize it's going to be a while before we can get back to any normalcy. And then 3 weeks or so ago, we get hit with the police brutality and the racial injustice, and just a lot for all of us to understand and to comprehend. And again, that goes back to I hope people have listened and learned, and at least try to have understood where others are coming from. I always tell people, all the time, for just one day, if you could, try to see through someone else's eyes. And I found myself doing that a lot over the time period. As far as the company goes, we moved back down here yesterday. It was yesterday morning when I was packing my stuff up and heading back down. I literally felt like I was heading back to the dorm at college, and it was my first day of school. I was, school, you're always excited to get back and see your friends, but you got to go back to work. So it's a little bit of, it was a little bit of happy, sad all at the same time. I've enjoyed being around my family and being at home. It was funny, at least in Charlotte, the way it's worked out is, 90% of this this whole lockdown has been with absolutely gorgeous spring weather. It's the first time that I can remember having a spring here, and I don't know when. We have, you know, wonderful temperature that gets down in the, maybe the upper 50s at night and low 70s during the day, and you get a rain shower in the afternoon. Um, it's the way I remember growing up as a kid, and I don't recall that anytime. So, being able to go out in my yard and not having to turn on sprinklers and just enjoying life the best I can under the circumstances.
We have
I
clubs
felt
down here that are opening. I mean, we got a club here that I mean they're having shows. They have their Monday night jams now. I mean, it's kind of like a glimmer of hope. I mean, it's not like
it
it
is.
used to be, but I feel like it's something.
It's a glimmer of hope, and I assume you're talking about the Funky Biscuit.
There's a
Yeah,
couple others, but yeah, the biscuit is what I'm talking
that's the
about.
shameless plug for you, Al.
Yeah.
Uh, no, they're good people down there, and I love that
Yeah.
club. It's hard to. I keep telling people, they're asking what's going on, and I especially have people from overseas wanting to know what's going on, and what's it like over here. And what I'm finding, there are gigs, and I'm very excited and grateful for that. They're not enough to pay the bills, and I don't know if it's sustainable. I mean, charging $80 and $100 for a ticket at a club, that's pretty, that's steep.
Yeah.
And trying to sell tickets at a 25 to 50% capacity when, I've heard, I'm repeating. I did not read this on Facebook, but I have heard that it takes 62.5% capacity to be able to make it in the restaurant and the club business. And we're not at that. So you're either way overcharging in order to, give your customers a service, or you're putting yourself more in the hole than you already are. So I'm just not sure how long it can last. I do have there seems to be there's some clubs in the Midwest that seem to be opening up or loosening up a little bit. There Texas seems to be opening up. As you guys know, Florida seems to be opening up. And then I've got a couple of clubs in the Northeast too that are like doing drive-ins and stuff like that. But it's, to me, especially with the situation that we're having with people without jobs, et cetera, I don't know how people are going to be able to afford this for very long. And if you're, that's it. I just don't know how sustainable it is. It is nice to be able to go out. And if these clubs don't overdo it, it's fantastic. I mean, I'm thrilled that they're doing it. I was up in the mountains this week in Blowing Rock, North Carolina, a beautiful little town up near Boone, which is where Appalachian State University is. It's about 2 hours from Charlotte, and there's this little gas station slash wine shop deli or something like that they had live entertainment out in their parking lot, and people would just bring their chair and sit around. Um, they were spread out, and it was a crowd of maybe, 30 people, but it was really neat to hear. I stopped. I was like, told my wife, Lee, I'm like, we got to stop and listen to these guys for just a minute. This is the first live entertainment that I've heard.
Yeah. And is there anything that Intrepid is thinking of doing as far as fundraising for the agency?
Um, Well, it's interesting you ask, Audrey. We are working on a virtual festival, and that will be July 10 and 11, I believe, are the dates. Yeah, July 10 and 11. Those are the tentative dates right now, and I have a lot of our artist roster already signed up, and I believe we'll be giving everybody an opportunity to take part in this if possible. and really what this is about is, you know, I'm not one to ask for handouts, and I don't like doing anything without earning it. But you know, we're trying to keep our artists in business and keep everything alive. And during this entire time, my guys have worked every single day during this pandemic. We did not take off. We did not take breaks. Uh, Excuse me. I think that a couple of them, you know, we've got a few days off here and there, each of us, but overall, we worked every day during this thing. And as I tell people, it's a lot of free advice and refunds. That's what we're doing. Imagine if you work in a small retail store, and every person that came in, what's your advice for the day? And is your first question, and then secondly, oh, I need to return this item I forgot, and I need my cash back. So that's a lot of that has been going on, and it'll get you down. But that's what we've done for the past 3 months. So I don't know what the future holds as far as income and stuff like that. I know my team is pretty unified, and I don't expect anybody going anywhere. But with that said, you know, I got to, the fact of the matter is, once this PPP runs out, and that's coming up here in the next few weeks, there's no income or very little. So I wanted to put on a virtual festival, and my artists have been so kind and generous. I'm a very, very fortunate man. But they've been great, and they volunteered to help out with this. And the purpose of it is to raise money to keep all the insurance here going for my guys. I don't want anybody to their insurance policies to lapse. I have been one to pay. Everybody has full insurance benefits here that works here, and there's 6 of us, and that's a pretty large bill each month. And you know, the salaries and stuff like that, we're going to all have to learn real soon that that party is somewhat over for right now. I think we'll go back to that just as soon. I'm expecting a good year next year, but I also am realistic, and 2 of my guys have families. Jake Leinkite, my West Coast agent, is married and has 2 adorable little twin girls they turned 6 this week. And Kevin Hopkins, my Northeast agent, he and his wife have 2 adorable little boys, and you know, I don't want to see their insurance run out. So that we do have something planned, and I am excited about working on it. But you know, my artists and myself have a pretty strong bond and relationship, and I feel very good about you know, the talks we've had during this time down, and moving forward with them. I think I told this to you the last time. That's your buddy Albert Castilla calling in. But you know, I'm stayed in touch with my artists, and they've stayed in touch with me, and I feel really good about, you know, the position that we have most of them in to go into next year. And I think they feel good about the representation they've had during this time off. You know, everybody in this office could have run and hid, and I asked them to stick with the plan, stick together. I'm big on unity and strength in numbers, and you know, if you can keep the pack all together, then you do good. When you start losing people, you're trying to hold on to everything, and it gets tough. And you know, we've had a few momentary lapses of reason over the last 3 months, but you know, we get it together. everybody pulls themselves together, and we're back at it again. I don't have to tell you guys, you know, we've been stir crazy, going through what we've been going through. Every day, my office consisted of working. I worked in the dining room, and I had the dining room table. And my wife worked, in our kitchen, which we're separated by a swinging door. She worked at the bar in our kitchen, and it was neat. It was neat to be home, as we talked, being out in the yard. Man, I got a lot of yard work done. Head out. I didn't have to deal with traffic. That was great. I hate traffic and I hate driving. So, but overall, everything worked really well. And it's just, if we were at home and we were booking dates, it would have been great. But we were at home handing out free advice and refunds. And that just, they're just days where you can't, it's tough to get by, and it's tough to get it out of your head. And then, you cut on the news and it's depressing. You mix in racial tensions and equality and the police brutality and the lack of unification coming from our leaders. And man, there are just some days that it's hard to strap it on and get back to work. But we managed, and we're back in the office, and I'm definitely fired up to be here.
Well, the virtual festival sounds really exciting. Is there any hints you could give us as to who we might see?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I just really started putting this together the other day, but Albert Castiglia, Anna Popovic, Anthony Gomes, Blues Beatles, Carolyn Wonderland, Davy Knowles, Gary Hoey, Joanna Connor, Kenny Neal, Little Ed and the Blues Imperials. Or I know Little Ed. I think it'll be Little Ed and the Blues Imperials. I've told everybody, whatever you want to do. If you want to do solo, you want to do band. Right now, I think a lot of the bands are coming back together, so we might see more band stuff. Papa Chubby, Vanessa Collier, Robert John and the Wreck. Those are just a few. I have some other, little surprises here and there. If we don't have time for everybody to play, they'll have some, maybe some uplifting messages for you in between sets. So I've got a couple of other guys lined up for that too that I really don't want to get into, but that's the plan right now. I think right now I've got 15 plus confirmed artists, and it just, I all these guys, they're more than just somebody I work for. I mean, I've built relationships with them, and it's over the pandemic, we've all had talks, and it's been so nice. And I don't really want to get too into politics and race and stuff, but I don't think I'd be doing myself. I don't think it'd be right for me not to say something, and that's that. I've talked to so many black artists, and it's interesting what just being a 55-year-old white guy, what getting their perspective on things and them getting my perspective on things, and it just helps to understand what your friends are going through or how they may feel during this time. And like I said, I always try to say, hey, try to understand what somebody else is going through and see through the eyes of another at some point in time. Put yourself in their position. And, as the saying goes, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. And I stand up for all my brothers that I work with and that I care about that are people of color. I've been in the blues business for 30 years. So, a lot of these guys, I mean, Kenny Neal is family. Little Ed and the Blue, Little Ed and his whole band, Little Ed though, I mean, and Pam, his wife, I mean, they're family. Eric Gales and LaDonna Gales, we've been through so much together. And quite frankly, all three of those folks that I just mentioned, we've all been through a lot of stuff together. And I feel very, very fortunate to be in the position that I am in, and that I can, speak up for some of these people. And if I can just get a couple of people to listen, then I feel like, hey, I've helped the cause any. And I'm looking for more than a couple. I think maybe that, there's misunderstanding with stuff. Just like the term Black Lives Matter, there's a misunderstanding and a perception that, well, all lives matter. Well, we all know all lives matter, but all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter. If you wanted to put TOO on the end, that's fine too. Black Lives Matter too. But I give a shout out to, all my black friends, or, people of color. I've been blessed to work with so many good people, black and white, male, female, gay, straight. I mean, I think you really, I don't know what to say. I mean, I like I said, I wasn't raised, I mean, I was raised right by my parents. I was taught right from wrong, and I was taught good from evil, and to be kind to others and respect others. But I was raised in somewhat sheltered, so to speak. So until college, I really was not exposed to a lot of stuff. Once I got to college, I had a number of black friends in college, a number of them that I still keep up with. I had, and you learn a lot during that 4 years. 4 years and 5 summer schools for me. Most of it was learned, outside of the classroom. But since that time and getting into the blues business, it's been one of the biggest blessings I've ever had in my life, because I can see the world differently now than I saw it before. Before, I only saw my little world through blinders, and I was fortunate enough to be able to get into this business and see that there's a big world out there, and that we're all very different, but all the same. Most of us just want to go to work and take care of our families. That's what's important.
And a very important thing that you've re-brought to our attention that I think everyone ought to be thinking about is, even if we think we understand things, doesn't matter how young or old you are, we all need to listen, because we'll understand it better if we do.
Absolutely.
And I think you're sending a very good and strong message. And the other thing that occurs to me, getting back to your planned event here, the fact that you have that list of artists, which is truly a stellar, unprecedented group of talented people banding together for Intrepid, says a lot about you and about Intrepid.
I hope so. I mean, look, man, I've never been a money-driven guy, and to be an agent and say you're not money-driven, that could, your artists go, well, man, you need to be pounding them. You don't have to pound somebody to get paid fairly. I feel like if you conduct yourself right, and you treat people with respect, treat people the way you want to be treated, then, you get what you want. I mean, I've seen, I'm lucky. I have good artists that work hard and that bring in good money, and it's a love that we enjoy doing. But as a person, I'm really more about building relationships, and I do. A lot of people say, I don't care what this guy thinks about me. I don't care what anybody says. And I always remember the Andre Agassi commercial for the, I think it was the Canon or Nikon camera, whatever. And, it was image is everything. And first impressions are everything. And I think I would much rather be known when I'm gone. I would rather people say that, uh, he was a good guy, rather than, boy, he racked it up, man. I mean, he took them to the mat. And he took them for everything they had. I book people fairly, and I've seen a lot too lately about that, I've made this point before, and I'll make it again, that, you know, when you're talking not just about race, but male and female artists, and that females don't make as much as males. And I've always thought, well, and there's truth to that. I'm sure there is, but in Intrepid artists, I don't think that's true. I have very popular female artists, you know, and those people, I mean, they're going to get what the market bears. And if they're good, I've always felt the market bears a lot. I mean, Carolyn Wonderland, for instance, who, she's a fantastic artist on her own, or, she's also John Mayall's guitarist. And, she's just freaking talented. People,
is.
when people will come out to pay to see you, and lots of them do, then, you're going to get the same type money as the male, and in a lot of cases more. It's not that I believe very much in equality, both black and white, and male and female, but I don't want to use the cliche, I don't see color, or I don't see male, female. I book people by the vibe I'm getting and their numbers. And I would never, say that I'm going to take a male artist and he's going to get more money because he's a male artist, or he's going to get a better slot. Now, when I first got in this business 30 years ago, there did seem to be the proverbial female slot. There was, and that just seemed to be the way it was. I booked festivals, and there was, hey, I need a female. Back in the day, I used to work with Debbie Davies and Rory Block and Joanna Connor, there was not always, it wasn't like I was going to book 2 of the 3 on a festival. It didn't work that way.
Yeah.
And Marcia Ball took a lot of my dates. I love Marcia Ball. She's a fantastic player, and she's a sweetheart too. So, but that's just, that's the way it is. I do think times have changed. You may go to a 2 or 3 day festival, and you may see a couple of females per day, or maybe, if you're lucky, you just might see a list that includes a ton of great artists that, I don't know. I'd love to see somebody try to pull it off to do an all-female festival.
That would be wonderful. Well, good thing that the virtual festival that you're putting together for Intrepid is jam-packed with talented women. So that's, incredible.
We do. And I'm Vanessa and Carolyn,
Joanna,
and,
Anna, all
Anna
those women.
Popovic, and who else? I'm leaving somebody out there. I'm excited they're all good people. And when I called them, they were all so sweet and kind. And I say they're sweet, but they're, some of those girls wield a pretty mean axe.
Yes, they do.
Anna and Carolyn Wonderland. And Joanna Connor. talking about wielding an axe.
Oh
My
yeah,
God.
she's amazing. And
Um,
you couldn't do any of this if you don't have your staff. And so it's important for, the staff to be taken care of. And one thing that you're doing is you've always said that you're not so much concerned about yourself as you are about the people that you work with and provide support for your agency. And so the
so
purpose of, this fundraiser is not just for the artist, but it is also for the benefit of Intrepid itself. Because without Intrepid, these artists don't have the support they need to get the bookings that, get them out where we can all enjoy them. So it's very important that we take a moment and appreciate the agency in addition to the artists. And I think that this gift that you're giving to the fans is incredible.
it's not really what I'm doing; it's what the artists are doing, and I felt pretty comfortable calling them all because I really do 90+% of my roster I'm in touch with on a regular basis and have really been in touch with them over this the holiday season, over the COVID-19 lockdown,
Yeah.
and it's been it's been good calling them and going, hey, how are you? How's your family? Uh, are you how's your family doing? Are you okay financially? Have you taken care of business with applying for whatever grants or stimulus or unemployment you can get? And it's been amazing how people have worked together. I had an artist. They had been trying to get unemployment and gotten denied, and uh, I spoke with Beth Vermeer, Vanessa Collier's manager, and Beth said, "Well, they're applying for the wrong thing. They're applying. There's money out there. They need a what was it now? Is it PUN or you? It's just a different type of unemployment that was out there that was specifically made for the artists during this time, pretty much. And I turned a couple of people onto that. They got picked up right away. So, you know, I'm hearing that some people are pretty happy right now that they've got their unemployment check, they've got their $600 stimulus through July on top of that, and then they've got some income from their virtual shows and that kind of thing. So, some people have done okay with it. The tips have died down. Those first couple of weeks, I could report to you, people were doing really great with the virtual shows and stuff. As it's gone for the last, I've seen it for the last month. They've gone down some. We're hoping there's a little bit of money out there that we might be able to help pay for some insurance here at Intrepid. But whatever happens, it happens. If we earn a few bucks and can help us out for a few months, that'd be great. If we can earn a bunch and get us through the year, that would even be better. Hopefully, everybody will just enjoy the music, and that's the way it is. And I'll figure it out when it's all over and live to fight another day. That's just the way my attitude is towards it. So I don't have a grand plan. Didn't have anything, that I had specified to speak with you guys about today. It just, no real agenda, man. I'm just taking it with the way things are right now. I think we all need to take it day by day and see what happens and what the next chapter holds for us all. And if you want to talk about the next chapter a little bit, we can go there. Talk about some bookings and what's going on.
If you'd like to tell us more about that, because I would love to hear your predictions for the future, and if you're actually, doing some bookings, I think that everybody's curious about what you have to say, Rick.
Well, we are doing some bookings. Like I said, there's a few places that are loosening up, but no sustainable touring. But it is it's encouraging that something's happening and that people are moving along. Most of the festivals have for this year have all been pushed to next year with almost the same lineups, unless somebody made a big deal, didn't want to play for the money they were being offered or from this past year. I would say 90% of my festivals went with the exact same lineup, exact same money, and most for the exact same day for the following year. So if you were playing last year, that you were scheduled to play the third weekend in July this year, then you'll play the third weekend in July next year. And the buyers have been great. The artists have been great. All the promoters, the club owners. Overseas is going to be trickier. I don't know. Nobody knows. I think a lot of the overseas stuff we're going to find out. Excuse me. A lot of them travel is banned and stuff, or you have to be quarantined at least through September 1. Now, Holland, for instance, they're going to make decisions about large gatherings and stuff in the next 2 weeks regarding after September 1. I think France has stuff coming up like that too. So these type things, we're going to know a lot more in a few more weeks as to how much longer they're going to lock them down. But excuse me, I question Americans being able to go over there without being quarantined. I question whether we're going to be able to go over there, not be quarantined over there, and then come back to the United States and not be quarantined again. So, and those quarantines are 14 and 15 days. So that and crossing over borders, that'll be another challenge because if again, sustainable touring and each country in Europe, they can decide, if they're opening up or not. It's not like Europe's going to open up. If France is bad off and Switzerland is good to go, one may open and one may not. But again, everything's just changing a lot now, and we're seeing, as you know, we're seeing the spikes go up in the States. And a lot of that's due to testing, as our beloved president would tell you. That a lot of it's due to testing, and that's true. It is due. You're testing more, you're going to find out more of this stuff. But it's also due to because everybody's out in the streets marching or getting out at clubs. I saw the clubs in Nashville this past week. They were packed. Kid Rock's honky tonk or whatever it's called there was packed. He got written up for it too, along with other people. But I think I heard yesterday, and I think I understood this correctly, was that the back before the pandemic, before we all shut down and everything, the average age of people getting this was, I want to say 67, and now it's in the 30s. But a lot of people are, that get it or not, they're asymptomatic. So, they're not showing signs. I know a number of people that have gotten it and have absolutely no symptoms. People that are close to me. So, I don't know what that means, except that, if you have consideration for your fellow man, you should try and stay away from people if you think you've been subjected. I told everybody in the office, if you've been subjected to the virus or feel like you have been put in that position, let's talk. Don't come back in.
Well, you kept everyone safe in your workplace, and I know that your consideration of your artists and the fans is the highest priority in terms of safety, and we admire you a lot for that, Rick. Thank you, because whenever we call you, we get a lot of information on what's going on in the industry that is very important for all of us to consider, whether you're an artist, a fan, or a venue operator. and we appreciate having the opportunity to talk to you.
Dude, it's all my pleasure. I mean, man, you guys have just become two of my favorite human beings on the planet. I know, I mean, I just know your intentions, and the way you treat people, and you guys are friends for life with me. I mean, I just, I think the world of you. And, you know, if I have a virtual hug, if I have just a message to leave with everybody, it's, you know, try to be positive and think of good things to say to other people. And, you know, understand that the world does not revolve around you. It revolves around all of us. And we all should have we should all have an opportunity to, you know, with lack of, sorry to use this term, but to breathe. I mean, we should all have the opportunity to breathe, breathe the air, enjoy life, and everybody should have an equal opportunity to do that. And I hope that people, I know people like you guys make a difference, and I appreciate the work you do with the Blues and with, you know, the great job you do on Blues Radio International, and DatFly. Let me get it. DatFly and Blues Radio International. Let me give I love DatFly and Blues Radio International.
That's right.
And the people that work there.
Oh,
Good
thank
people.
you, Rick. We love you too.
But we do need to all get on the same page in regards to equality. You know, you don't have to go out and be buddy with everybody. That's not what equality is about. It's just allowing other people to have the same opportunities as you've had. And if we all give that a chance, the world will be a better place.
Thank you very much for finishing us on that very inspiring and appropriate note. An honor to talk to you, our friend, and we love you. Stay safe, and we look forward to speaking again soon.
Love you guys. Oops.
Nothing wrong with that.
The mop. Hey. I have not gotten the mop cut. It's I probably put on a few pounds, and I think I grew about 4 inches of hair during the lockdown. Jesse, you're looking a little wild up top too, man.
Yeah, it's getting scary.
It looks good.
It's going to get scarier.
It looks good on you. Are you do you have your own brand of black T-shirts, man?
No, but I need to. You know, I have 15 of them, and they're all pretty similar, but they each have a different character.
Okay, all right.
And they get replaced every month as well, so it's a short lifetime.
If you ever go to decide to brand your shirts, I want one.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'll have to do that.
You look great. I don't think I can look as good in it with you and the Wayfarers and the golden voice.
Yes, the golden voice.
I'm humbled.
And Audrey, I mean, what do I say about Audrey? She's my buddy, man. She's just great with her always the funny sunglasses and the smile, and you guys bring a smile to my face, and I appreciate it.
Very good.
Feeling is mutual. We love you, Rick. We got to get a group photo before we leave here.
We
didn't
do.
do that.
My goodness, what are we thinking?
Audrey, you forgot.
Audrey forgot.
I forgot too.
Oh, that's a horrible picture. Let's try another one.
You guys look beautiful. You're adorable people.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Rick.
You.
Y'all take care.
Mwah.
All right. Take care, Rick. Love you.
Bye,
See you
Rick.
later.
We'll talk to you later. Bye.